I'll just note 7:03. We'll call the meeting to order.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the September meeting of the Bristol Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. Let's see. As usual, we start with our review and approval of the August 28th, 2025 meeting notes, or meeting minutes, rather. Brad, I'll note when I was in there doing some housekeeping, I
Mhm.
couldn't quite tell if what I was looking at were my sparse notes from last month or yours.
Okay.
They might be both. There might be two in there. Um,
Okay.
can you tell me for my own edification, um, which one is, oh, I guess I could just click on this. I have it open. Um,
Oh yeah, I see you're in last month's right now, and I duplicated that file, but I renamed it, so it should have today's date on it.
okay, so the one that's in there, this um, whatever it is, the meeting minutes from last month, the 8/28 one, are
Hmm.
those are, oh no, I just clicked on yours.
Oh
Hold on.
yeah, yeah. No, I didn't add notes to that one. Yeah, I did not come back through for last month's to add anything. So I think those are just yours.
Okay, cool, great.
Yeah.
Um, so I'll call for a motion to approve last month's meeting notes, noting that last month's meeting was sparsely attended. We had late attendance, didn't cover too much. That which we did cover, Kevin will go over in a minute. There's some interesting things we broached then. But can I have a motion to approve last month's meeting notes?
I will motion to approve last month's meeting notes.
And a second,
I'll
please.
second it.
Terrific. Thank you for your
You got
service.
it.
Okay, so that brings up, I guess it brings up two things relative to this. Just a reminder of everything that we're doing. I think since April is when I stood up the share there, um, is now on Google Drive. We did that change because of the permissions, easier access and manipulation, or not manipulation, easier access and management of permissions. Um, I I told Ian about that actually over yesterday and today. He was just looking for some record keeping on that stuff, and I mentioned that to him. He's obviously not our liaison with the select board anymore. It's Jessica Teets, but I let him know, and he said, "No, that's totally cool. Keep running with that." Um, Kevin, at last month's meeting, Brad asked if there was anybody that wanted to volunteer for the secretary position moving forward, given that his schedule, from both an attendance perspective and more importantly from the secretary duty perspective, would probably be a little bit inconsistent moving forward, and he didn't want to put anything at risk. So, were there any? Did anybody want to volunteer to take on the secretary position? There were no takers at that time. Um, what we'll roll into now, since we don't have any members of the public on right now, is something that was broached offline in the last couple days, by Sally to Jessica Teets, which is that at this point in the board's sort of historical arc, we should be looking overall at changing up the roles and responsibilities. So I reminded the people on the chain, there are only two formal roles and responsibilities. One is the chairperson, the other is the secretary. By the way, the secretary is in the middle of trying to step down. Neither of them knew that because Sally wasn't on the call last month. Um, and I said, and I've been the chair since I was half appointed and half volunteered for it in the first meeting we ever had 3.5 years ago or whenever it was. So I clarified with Jessica and Sally because Sally is on another committee and Jessica has obviously been on a million committees, or many committees in town, to be literal. What the process for changing roles and responsibilities is. Is that something that has to be done by the select board, especially noting that we typically do not have a quorum which would be something that we would be able to do a vote for. And they said that typically on these committees, the board itself has a mechanism for voting for these positions. So we got Tanya coming on. We'll just make sure she's on, and then I'll just hi Tanya.
How are you?
Well, good to see you. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry, I'm a little late.
No worries. I'll just quickly run back. Oh, apologies. Sally apparently was on the call last month. Um, I'm just going back over something that we discussed at last month's meeting and then kind of continue to discuss offline, which is Brad brought up um, wanting to put the secretary role up for somebody else to volunteer for. During the meeting, nobody volunteered for it. Offline, it was brought up by Sally and then further discussed by our liaison with the select board, Jessica, that at this point we should be refreshing all of the roles within the committee. And I was just, when you jumped on, I was just mentioning that all of these committees have a mechanism within for the boards themselves to vote in new members of those positions. Um, you know, some of them are far more formal, like the way the library is set up. Some of them I think are far more informal, yet still follow what would be considered an intuitive and rational set of guidelines. But for our purposes, they noted that the board could effectively vote on it the way we vote on anything else. Obviously, the main challenge to that is us having a quorum, having attendance enough to have people on the board to vote for something like that or anything else.
Right.
Brad, I will note that I would assume that the secretary position does not require a vote to switch you out. So you don't have to worry about it, being in limbo until we have a quorum. Um, Tanya, yes.
What?
Oh, sorry, I right now on my screen, I have it defaulting to whoever talks pops
Oh,
up in front of my screen. And so
sorry.
it defaulted to you. So I was just wondering if you had anything to add or say.
My cat just meowed.
Perfect. Perfect. Um, let us know if the cat has any solutions to this. We will take
Plus
them under advisement.
food, not so much.
Okay, so what I'll do is after this call, I will forward around to the group um, some notes, on what we talked about during the previous um, meeting, which I'll mention as soon as I'm done talking about this, and then also the need to refresh what is effectively just the chair position at the next meeting, and that if everybody can to make an attempt to be on the next call. One of the things we covered last month was I came on and suggested that coming out of the summer, and we took 1 month off, just as a break. It felt like a good time to hit the reset button on our efforts anyway. So I said that not thinking in terms of the positions of the board, but just what our efforts were going to focus on moving forward and how we were going to focus on them. And that could effectively be what we circulated as homework for everyone when we had attendance. Um, I'm going to also note that in my follow-up email from this, because as you all saw earlier this week, there are grants available and open, and ideally, all we're going to do is take the initiatives that we had earmarked towards grants back in March or April or whenever it was, and we will just get with the grant writer who Jessica has reached out to. I think she thought she had copied me on the note, but I don't think I was. We will get with her and just put those towards these new grants um, that Local Motion had apprised us of in that email that I forwarded to all of you. Or I sent you an email and I think I forwarded you a link to the body of the email with a bunch of links and things like that to those grants. Um, and then we can just kind of take that hand in hand with any ideas anybody wants to present for how we move forward with the board itself, and how we activate certain things. I've gotten another formal, okay, I'm gonna stop talking for a second because I've been talking for 13 minutes. Anybody have any comments or questions up to this point on that stuff? Okay. Everybody good? Okay. So I will say that I got a formal request from the select board for a Pine Street proposal, which we, as everybody knows, we've got in hand. We can present that to them. We voted on it. We're good to go with that. I will let Jess know that we need to get on an agenda, hopefully soon. I also let Jess and she then forwarded it to a couple people in the town hall, know that we had had another community member reach out a couple months ago about one of the open seats. And I directed them to the volunteer form. They filled it out, they submitted it to town hall and never heard anything back. I think I mentioned that at the last meeting, and it's now we've got another month past. And the person who had reached out to us, his name is Zach Patel, who, if I don't know if anybody noticed, I copied him on the last two notifications about the meetings. Um, he still hasn't gone in front of the board. They haven't scheduled him to go in for review, so I would assume his paperwork just simply got lost in the shuffle of the last few months. That said, Jess has served notice to people within the scheduling end of things for the select board to get Zach's board seat onto a select board agenda so that he can be vetted and hopefully approved for us. Which would be obviously fabulous. That would bring us one seat closer to a full board, and it would give us a lot more room as far as quorum is concerned. Okay. So I know we're a little bit since we're not doing our normal thing because we had no public forum here and we're jumping sort of around from other business and grants and initiatives. I wanted to take a second to stop and say, okay, I know I just asked everybody if they had any comments on any of the stuff I had said previously. Does anybody have any other comments relative to the note I had sent around about grants, noting again that we're going to take all of the things that we had sketched out, move them over via the town grant writer into natural homes for them within the local motion framework. But does anybody have any other questions, comments about that, or for that matter, anything at this point? Oh,
Not from here. Nope, sorry.
okay,
The
no,
awkward silence.
thank you for confirming. Thank you for confirming.
Me, all set.
Got it. And again, I will in the note that I sent to everybody, I'll impress upon everyone the importance of hopefully showing up for next month's meeting so that we can see if anybody wants the chair seat first of all, and then hopefully hopefully vote on it. What else do I have to say? Not much. What I'll do is I will copy everybody on my note to the town grant writer where I forward her the work that we did towards voting on a variety of projects that were originally earmarked for grants that have come and gone. So that she has a running start. She, I believe, has the information about the current suite of grants that Local Motion had forwarded to us. So she'll at least be familiar coming in. Tanya, I'll ask her if she's got access to that. What was that software you had mentioned previously?
Grant station, I'm sure she,
Grant Station, yes. I'll ask her if she has that. I also don't have any further information on any of the stuff that I had previously reported on from the rec club, though I will mention that someone asked on Front Porch Forum today if any of our board members ever sat in on any of the select board meetings where sidewalk projects had been discussed. So I'll ask all of you, have any of you been on any of those last few things? I do my best to keep up with the agendas, for those to see if there's anything that's interesting. But I feel like anything time that I've seen, and I don't obviously see all of the agendas, I'm not paying that much attention to Front Porch Forum, but anytime I've seen them, any mention of those projects, it's always seemed like a sort of a done deal. It hasn't seemed like a more of a discussion. But has anybody sat in on any of those meetings before I answer this person?
No.
Okay. I will ask our liaison Jessica, if there's just not, she certainly doesn't need me to tell her this, but if there are things like that that we should be involved in on the front end, meaning or I shouldn't say at the front end, on the public side at the meetings, to please let us know, and we'll make sure one of us is attending digitally or virtually or otherwise, meetings that are dealing with that type of thing, because I think, we should at least have visibility into those things. I do review, and I know Sally actually goes to them because she has posted previously her meeting minutes. Um, so I'll actually ask her if she's been to any of these as well, and so that I can answer this person at least with an informed answer. Okay. Is there any other business for this month? All right, Brad, what I'll do is, not that we just covered, I know we covered, I talked a lot. I don't know that we necessarily covered a ton of actionable stuff, but I had noted on a previous call that Zoom is taking notes, though my ability to access them is sometimes a little bit weird. It's like I don't have access to the notes until the next time I log on. So I'll log on tomorrow and see if I can grab those and dump them in the folder for you just as a reference.
Awesome. Yeah, I was able to capture the notes about the grants as well as the select board, and then our potential addition of Zach, as well as next month we're planning to come together, discuss roles and responsibilities, and vote from there.
That's it. Amazing. So then, if nobody has anything else, I will ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I will motion to adjourn.
And can we get a second?
I will second.
Thank you, Tanya, Brad, Kevin, Brad, 7:21, meeting adjourned.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Enjoy the rain.
Thank you too.
We need
Bye-bye.
it. Bye.
Thanks. We need it. Bye-bye.